The Montreal Canadiens and Samuel Montembeault have agreed to a 3-year contract extension. We'll discuss the contract, what it means for his future, and his other goalies in Montreal coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some big news from the Montreal Canadiens organization. There's been reports of ongoing discussions between the Habs and goaltender Samuel Montembeault about potential contract extensions. Recently, well, they've come to terms, and it's a 3-year contract extension. As I have previously talked about on the channel, it was rumored to be a 3 to 4 year deal, somewhere in the $3 to $4 million range. I think originally the goaltender was looking closer to 4, but they've settled on a 3-year deal at $3.15 million. Now, it's also important to note that there is no trade protection included in this contract. Of course, the Montreal Canadiens are still carrying 3 goaltenders right now, and it's a little bit unclear what exactly their plan is to go down to a 2-goalie system, because it's not really great fun or ideal for any of these 3 guys to be in a 3-goalie rotation. They're not all playing evenly amounts here, of course, but it's not really great overall, and the team acknowledges this, and really no team wants to do it. It's just a victim of circumstance here, because they don't want to lose anybody for nothing. And of course, they have Jake Allen, the veteran, still signed for this year and another year, well over $3 million, closer to $4 million. And then you've got Cayden Primeau, the youngster, looking to establish himself. And while he's certainly been inconsistent and has struggled, he's had a couple of good starts, but for the most part, his numbers aren't overly confident that he's ready to be a full-time NHL goaltender, but it doesn't mean they don't think he can get there at some point. But the question is how long, and how long will they continue to work with him before they have to either put him on waivers or consider making a trade. Now, Samuel Montembeault has been one of those names that have been in the mix for in the rumor mill at least, for trade amongst other teams. The Oilers have been heavily scouting the Habs. It's believed they have interest in at least one, if not more than one, of the Habs goaltenders. Montembeault, you could probably argue, has been the strongest of the 3. He's appeared in 10 games. He's got a 2.73 goals against and a .910 save percentage. So obviously he's done his part to help the Habs win some of their games this year. Certainly been fairly consistent for that part. And, I can understand why they're interested in keeping him. I can also understand why they might trade him still, and that's because his value is really good. Now, it depends on what the offer is going to be, of course. Of course, you have Jake Allen, who does have a modified no trade and can block some teams. He makes more money than Montembeault still, so trading Jake might be even more complicated. So this may come down to the scenario where Jake and Montembeault, they've both been the 2 best goalies for the Habs. Do they run with those 2? And do they either take the chance of putting Cayden Primeau on waivers, or do they consider trading the youngster? It's hard to say. I'm not sure that there's another NHL team that would put Primeau and keep him on the NHL roster right away, at least full time. It's hard to say what happens here. But just because Montembeault was signed, I'd say it reduces the chance of him being traded. It doesn't completely eliminate it, because there are teams in need, and if the offer is good enough, I have to think that the Canadiens will certainly consider it. Kent Hughes is going to be looking out for the team's future, and certainly Montembeault can be the goalie, part of the solution for today and for the next 3 years. There's no doubt. Like he is worth keeping around, absolutely, especially where they got him for nothing themselves a couple of years ago. So certainly good asset management in that regard. But it comes down to is Jake Allen and Cayden Primeau both going to stay, or what's going to happen here? That's the big question that we just don't know the answer to. We also don't know what other options some teams that are looking for goalie help are looking at as well. Obviously, the trade prices are going to impact things too. So let me know your thoughts on the Montembeault contract extension, what it means for his future in Montreal, and which Montreal goaltender is either getting dealt or possibly, in Primeau's case, put on waivers. Let me know your thoughts on that. We'll talk about it further in the comments. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.